Today we're going to look at two common carburetor problems and how to fix them. The first is a lot of times this carburetor gets buildup inside of it. So what we need to do is take the carburetor off, take it apart, and clean the screen that has the buildup on it. So basically use your 5/16 socket, remove the air filter, and remove the two nuts that are holding the carburetor on. Now just take this cover off and disconnect the hose that's behind there. Disconnect the throttle cable from the carburetor and the two fuel lines. Gently pull those off, and then the carburetor's held on by another hose in the back. You got to disconnect that. Just use one finger to hold it while you pull on the carburetor, and it should pull right off. Now that you got the carburetor off, you turn it upside down, you'll see two screws. You use a Phillips screwdriver and you remove both of these screws from the bottom of the carburetor. Now after removing these screws, if you take a look here, the largest hole, it has a screen inside there, and a lot of times there'll be buildup inside there. There'll be a bunch of debris in there on top of that screen. Our mowing crew uses about 9 or 10 weed eaters a year, and several of them get this buildup inside there. We have to take the carburetor off and clean that debris out of there. You use like a small piece of wire and kind of scrape that out of there, and then get yourself some carburetor cleaner and gently spray that out of there and clean all that debris out of there. Wipe it off so you don't get any gunk down in there, and take your wire and you'll gently pop this screen out with the wire. It'll come out like so. And you can take some carburetor cleaner and spray the bottom of that screen to get the rest of the debris off of there. And once it's clean, just pop it back in that hole and gently push down in it with your wire so it's reseated. Maybe spray a little bit more carburetor cleaner to get any of the other gunk off of it. And that's the major problem that I've found with a lot of these carburetors, is that buildup. There's other pieces you can take off of the carburetor, but generally I found that this one is the main problem. And I usually just put it back together, put the carburetor back on, and a lot of times that fixes my carburetor problem. When you're putting your carburetor back on, the easiest way to do it is to first get that back hose on. You kind of use your fingers to guide that on there and push the carburetor on there, and once it slides into that hose, then you can put your throttle cable back on and then reconnect the two hoses, the two fuel line hoses, to the carburetor. Make sure you reattach the air filter hose to the vent. Once that's on there, you just replace your nuts. And then replace the air filter and the air filter cover. And that's one of the common problems that I've found with these trimmers, is that debris. The other common problem we will address as soon as I get this put back together. Next, we're going to take a look at how to adjust the carburetor. If you take a look at a carburetor on the steel, there is a high screw on the left-hand side. If you're going to make any adjustments to the high-speed screw, just make a slight adjustment. Otherwise, you could cause more problems with your engine. The adjustment screw on the right is your low-speed setting screw. If you're having problems with your trimmer with erratic idling or poor acceleration, or if there's popping noises or it won't stay running, usually adjusting this screw can fix it. Using a 5/32 socket or hex driver, turn the screw clockwise or counterclockwise until your engine runs smoothly. I've seen different types of carburetors on the FS90, so it's best to just let the engine warm up a little bit and then make your adjustments slightly, since the different carburetors seem to have different settings. Hopefully one of these two fixes will get your weed eater back running. Thanks for watching.